One of the biggest news items of the year for the whole of the country has been the wonderful weather. Yes, we have been basking in sunshine for most of the summer months. The hottest summer for many years. Who needs to go abroad when there's countryside like this on your doorstep? In April, a demanding walk through the heart of Pendle Witch Country helped fund a new headquarters for Scouts and Guides. May brought VE Day and some drama on the slip road entering the M65 at Gano. In June we had the annual agricultural show and fun day at Higham and the classic car day, plus an event at Baden Athletic Arena. Also in this month the Burnley Rambling Group celebrated their 75th anniversary. August brought us the Balloon Festival. As our wonderful summer came to an end, in September it was the end of an era at Burnley Football Club. Also in September, a chimney at Padiham went up, or down, according to your point of view. But first we go to Burnley Cine and Video Society's annual festival, held on the 25th of March this year at Burnley College. The event was attended by over 200 enthusiastic movie makers and all their families. Club chairman Albert Paiton gave the audience a very warm welcome.
May I welcome you on behalf of the Burnley Cine and Video Society. I welcome you to this, our film festival, '95. Our first festival, as stated in the programme, was some 20 years ago, and we've still kept on steaming then. Most societies, membership is small, like we are. We're only a small society, but we extend to you a very big welcome indeed. There's not so many cars, keep going through them, so the gentlemen thank you. But normally on these occasions, I usually hide at the back, operating the house lights and changing the sound from machine to machine. So the audience has viewed, I see the backs of the heads, you see, and I don't recognise anybody from this position. Going to the back, I could, place you better. A rather new occasion for me. I think at Burnley we have made progress.
Earlier in the day, club members had been busy preparing the refreshments for later. Mr. Chairman seemed a little anxious at this time, as ex-chairman Ted Griggs was trying to give him the benefit of his valuable experience in these matters.
That's all it'll be.
You don't need to do it.
I don't know enough about this.
You don't need to do that. I tell you now, you're getting yourself all worked up for nothing. I did, just the same.
The excellent afternoon tea was followed by a programme of first-class movies sent in by many other clubs. The speaker for this year's event was Bruce Rawlings from the world of television. Bruce kept the audience captivated with his tales and experiences working for the BBC.
Dialects, and we used to have to know what each one was precisely. So you can imagine every soundtrack was very carefully written as to what version it was, because no one had the faintest idea. But the boss could always tell. She was fluent in all these things. And you're going to see a version in a minute of one particular advert where she was so conversant and knew it all so well that she had 500 copies made and they had the right picture with the wrong sound. So we had 3 leaders for the next 10 years.
On the 29th of April, a group of walking enthusiasts took to the hills. Pendle Hill, actually. The walk was sponsored for the second consecutive year by house builders Hassell Homes. The walk started from Barley Village Hall at about 8 AM and ended there later for a celebratory meal. Everyone was carefully noted at various checkpoints along the route in case anyone went missing. Chairman of the main committee, Mr. Ted Pemberton, outlined the route that the walkers would take.
They go through Sabden Fold, Sabden, Nicker Pendle, over the top of Pendle, off the end of Pendle to Angram Green, Angram Green to Chatburn, Chatburn down to the river, up the riverside to Sawley, back across to Downham, and then back to Barley Village Hall.
What time are they due back at, roughly?
The first ones will be about 3.5 hours, something like that, and the last ones maybe 6 o'clock tonight, maybe a bit later.
Mrs. Nutter from Fence coordinated the entrance, and 161 people took part in the 25-mile trek, which was not for the faint-hearted. The aim is to raise enough money to build headquarters for the Forest Scouts and Guide Group. This year's walk raised around £1,000, which will be added to the 30,000 raised so far.
In San Francisco, half an hour ago, by a high American official not identified, as saying that Germany has surrendered unconditionally to the...
It's 50 years since the end of the war in Europe, and Burnley did its bit to celebrate the victory on VE Day. Houses and pubs were covered in bunting, and most people in Burnley didn't need any more encouragement to party. Michael and Jean Fallows weren't even born till after the war ended, but you would have to travel a long way to meet a more patriotic family. We spoke to them on the day before VE Day, as they were preparing for their celebrations.
And so we feel part of it, you know. Now we've bought up kids' little hats and that for tomorrow, and 2 little girls' nurses' uniforms, so they'll be done up like they would have been, you know. Yeah, we did exactly the same for Jubilee.
Princess Charles and Di's wedding, and then Fergie and Prince Andrew's wedding.
Oh, very good. You give it the full work.
Oh, yeah. Born and bred.
The following day, VE Day brought a number of street parties throughout the town.
Don't forget Miss Churchill.
Oh, was it that?
Little hen, when, she was right well in that. She was joining everybody joined up when she was there.
Towneley Park also played its part in the celebrations. On the 23rd of May, a motorway disaster was narrowly avoided when a lorry carrying tyres turned over on the slip road of the M65 at Gannow. Fortunately, the sign saved a lorry from sliding down the embankment and onto the motorway. The police were quick to react and soon had the motorway closed from both directions. A young eyewitness explained what happened. The month of June came again, and it was once again time for the annual agricultural show, the venue being Towneley Park. Towneley Park was used for a number of events throughout the year.
Required place for class 4. 2 minutes to report to the ring and then the class will close.
On the 18th of this month, the village of Higham had a fun day, organised and held at Higham Primary School to help school funds. There were the usual side stalls and barbecue, and a fine display of dancing by the juniors. One for Burnley Express, no doubt. The theme for the show was transport, and talking of transport, also in June there was the classic car show at Towneley, once again the venue. Athletic Arena, however, was the venue for the Burnley Boys Club Fun Day on the 4th of June. This was to be very well supported. go a long way to find nicer scenery than there is around Pendle Hill. Another group of walkers have been appreciative of these facts for years. 75 years as a matter of fact, and to celebrate this occasion on the 10th of June, the Burnley Rambling Group gathered at their usual venue, Clarion House. Oldest member, and one of the trustees, Mary Crossley, started off the round of speeches.
Sometimes at night when I can't go to sleep, I think, oh dear, I have to think of something and I go for a ramble. In my mind, I'll go for a ramble. I'll go out to Down or somewhere, you know, and I'll go on over the road, then down the lane and round to Mrs. Tom's. A cup of tea there, Mrs. Teabag. I wonder what happened to that oval table she had. It was a lovely polish table.
President Anne Green was next to say a few words.
It was going to rain, and all our preparations would have gone to naught. But I'm quite sure that everybody, every one of you, will have a nice time this afternoon because we've got a full programme of entertainment for you all.
Getting going. We still have.
Membership Secretary Charlie Schofield had many nostalgic tales to tell.
He's in charge of the taps. So it says, turn on, Doreen. Hilda's going. Said, has it going? No. No, she was turning it the wrong way. She turned the damn valve off. The water was so high, you could see it from top of Nugget.
After telling the story of Albert and the Lion, Alan Lawson brought the house down with his rendering of 3 halfpence a foot.
The houses were soon under water, and folks to the roof had to climb. They said it was the rottenest summer that buried at some time. Wax chain in water on tower top just before dark. Try saying that after 2 pints. He stuck to his watch chain in water on tower top just before dark, when who should come sailing towards him but old Noah, sailing his ark. They stared at each other in silence till the 40th day of the wet, and on his way back, passing Blackpool, they saw Sam standing there yet. His chin just stuck up out of water. A comical figure he cut. Said Noah, now what's the price of your mare? Sam answered 3 halfpence. Said Noah, I made an offer. It's the last time I'll be hereabout, and if water comes half an inch higher, I'll get maple for nought. 3 halfpence a foot it'll cost you. And as for me, Sam said, don't fret. The sky took a turn since this morning, and I think it'll brighten up yet.
The time thou art lost and gone forever, dreadful sorrow.
The Pot Fair is a regular event in Burnley, and once again there was plenty of crockery to choose from if you'd been waiting to treat yourself to that rather special tea set or dinner service. The Balloon Festival in August was unfortunately the non-event of the year. Of all things, it was the weather that prevented most of the balloons from taking off. There was a take-off on Saturday, however, and if you were prepared to be down at Towneley Park at 6 AM on Monday morning, you would have seen 3 balloons going up. The mass takeoff on the bank holiday Monday is usually a sight to behold, and one that everyone looks forward to. But the weather prevented even a tethered flight. It was quite obvious that it was time to call it a day, and Burnley can only wait till next year and hope that the weather conditions are a bit calmer.
saw the school one day that we were supposed to be having a club, and it was things to make the balloon go.
On August the 31st of this year, the final chimney at Padiham Power Station was razed to the ground using 13 kilos of explosives. It took workers from the Stevenson Demolition Company Limited about 3 weeks to prepare the explosives under the 3,000-ton chimney. The 450-foot concrete and brick structure was 30 foot in diameter at the base and 20 foot across the top. Site engineer John Falconer pushed the button as the people lined the surrounding roads and fields waited with bated breath.
Good Lord!
The drop wasn't quite as exciting as the spectacular demolition of the station's 2 cooling towers in February. Burnley Football Club began making some dramatic changes to Turf Moor this year, and on Sunday, September the 17th, the club opened the ground to enable fans to say farewell to their usual viewing point. The alterations to Longside and East Stand will cost around £6 million. The Longside stand should be completed by March the 2nd, 1996. And the East Stand behind the goal should be complete for the start of the next season. Burnley has undergone many changes over the years, and perhaps none as dramatic as the complete refurbishment of the town centre shopping area itself. The main benefit, no doubt, being the new undercover shopping malls. The refurbishment has certainly given Burnley a facelift, and just in time for Christmas. Our roving cameramen will be out and about filming for next year's newsreel shortly, so watch this space. This was Newsreel 95.